Good evening, my friends. This is Tossif, and I'm back with a new live stream. And honestly, it feels like it has been forever. It has been forever. I mean, I believe my last live stream was maybe 10 or 11 days ago. So not that long ago, but it surely feels like it has been a really, really long time. And so I'm not sure how many of our friends will be tuning in today since I'm doing a live stream after quite a while. And I don't know how many views we will get. I don't know if we will be able to reach a lot of new people. I sure hope so. But, I don't know. So, my friends, make sure that you hit the like button. Make sure that you are sharing the video and just help spread the word, my friends. When you keep doing live streams, the algorithm kind of favors you, I guess, and you can reach more people. I think the highest number of viewers that I got on a single live stream, the record was 105,000 viewers. Okay, that was a while back. So I have not been doing live streams as regularly. I have not been able to just because life's been so busy, so busy. But it's good. Busy is good. But I just couldn't find time to do live streams. And that's why I feel like we've sort of fallen behind a bit. So if you want to boost the algorithm, if you want our community to continue to grow and reach more people, make sure that you are liking the video and sharing the video. Please do that, my friends. I'm so excited to see Frank. I'm so excited to see Kay. I'm so excited to see Claudia and James. And thank you all. Thank you so very much. Claudia from North Carolina. Thank you so much, Claudia. And James, thank you so very much for being here. Make sure that you are liking the video. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. I know the names I mentioned. These are friends you've subscribed. And also, this is in subscriber only mode. So the only people who are commenting in the live chat are those who have already subscribed, like Stacy. Thank you, Stacy. And so those who may be watching for the first time, or maybe you've watched my videos before, but you have not subscribed, please subscribe and support the channel. My friends, we have a lot of important things to discuss. A lot of very important things that we need to talk about. But because I have not been able to do live streams in a while, I feel like the topics have piled up. Lots of topics that I have to get through. I won't be able to do it all tonight, but there's just a lot going on in the country and around the world. And we need to discuss all that because everything that's happening affect our lives. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about today, without discussing other things, let's talk about what's going on in the Democrat Party. Okay, who wants to talk about the Democrats? Who wants to talk about the Democrats? Do you want to talk about the Democrats? Do you want me to tell you what is happening in the Democrat Party? Do you want me to give you my analysis? Do you want to hear my viewpoints? Do you want to know what I think is going on in the Democrat Party? I'm a proud Republican, but I think I know what's going on in the Democrat Party, and I'm gonna share with you my viewpoint, share with you my thoughts, and I know that some of you will agree with my analysis and some of you won't. So share with me your thoughts in the live chat, okay? Please do so, my friend. So Dick Durbin, who knows who Dick Durbin is? Do you know who Dick Durbin is? Dick Durbin, very, very widely known political figure, Dick Durbin. Do you know what is going on with Dick Durbin? Dick Durbin is one of the most powerful Democrats in the US Senate. He has decided not to seek re-election. That is correct. Dick Durbin, one of the most powerful Democrats in the US Senate, has decided not to seek re-election. So what is going to happen now? There's going to be, I guess, there's going to be intense race to replace him. We may see many Democrats competing against each other to try to capture the seat that Dick Durbin now has, the seat that Dick Durbin is going to vacate. And who knows which state Dick Durbin is from? My friends, do you know what state Dick Durbin is from? If you do, please let me know in the live chat. Dick Durbin, any idea what state he's from? You know the state. I know you do. Shall I wait for you to make a guess? Illinois. Dick Durbin is U.S. Senator, Democrat U.S. Senator from Illinois, and he is retiring. Senator Durbin has decided that it is time for him to wrap up his Senate career. Dick Durbin has decided that it is time to leave the Senate. He is not running for re-election in 2026. But Dick Durbin has been in Congress for, you know how long? Decades. Decades. The first time Dick Durbin got elected to Congress, that was the year 1982. Ask yourself, where were you in 1982? How old were you in 1982? What was going on in your life in 1982? That was before my birth, 1982. It was before my birth. 1982, I was not even born in 1982. So Dick Durbin was first elected to Congress in 1982, and eventually he served in the Senate, and he spent a very, very long time in the U.S. Senate. And now he announced that in 2026, he is not going to run for re-election. Dick Durbin is a Democrat. And Illinois is a blue state. Illinois is a blue state. So now what might happen is many Democrats are probably getting ready to run for this open seat. We know that Democrats love power. And there are Democrats in Illinois who probably have been dreaming of this day, because Dick Durbin's been in the seat for a long time. So I'm sure there were Democrats, and there are Democrats who have been dreaming of this day. They have been waiting for Dick Durbin to retire. They have been waiting for Dick Durbin to say that he's not going to run for re-election. And that day has come. Dick Durbin finally made the decision he is not going to seek re-election. The announcement has come. Now I will talk about the race for the Senate seat in Illinois. I'm not going to do that today, but I will talk about it. So that's going to be a discussion for another day. But today, my friends, let me tell you, Let me tell you the reasons why I think Dick Durbin is retiring. Any idea? Any idea? Why is Dick Durbin retiring? I think most people would say, "Oh, he's old." There are people out there who would immediately point to Dick Durbin's age, and they'll say, "Oh, he's old, and that's why he's retiring." They'd say there are people out there who would say, "Oh, he's a very senior member, he's old, so he's retiring." But is that the real reason, my friends? You always have to think, you have to look at things beyond the obvious. People will say, "Oh, this is the reason that Dick Durbin is old and that is why he's retiring." But is that really the reason? Or is there some other reason why Dick Durbin has decided not to seek re-election? Ken, it is so good to see you. I just see our friend Ken just joined. Ken, so good to see you. Let me tell you what is going on, what I think is going on. I may be wrong. The viewpoints that I share, the analysis that I share, I may be wrong. But I want you to hear what I have to say, and then you can let me know your thoughts. After you listen to me, you can tell me, Tausif, you're wrong. Or you can say, Tausif, you know what? I agree with what you just said. I agree with your analysis. That'll be great. And if you don't, if you say, Tausif, you're totally wrong, what you just said is wrong. All right, fine, my friends. In that case, I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your analysis, but let me tell you what I think is going on. And I don't think it's age. Let me tell you what is going on. So, we have seen members of the Senate, we have seen senators serve for many, many years, well into their 80s. Senator Mitch McConnell is 80 years old now. 83 years old now. Senator Mitch McConnell is 83 years old right now. But in the case of Senator McConnell, it's a little different because Senator McConnell, he has faced health challenges. Okay? Senator McConnell, he also decided not to run for re-election, but that is because Senator Mitch McConnell, he has faced health challenges. But then you look at Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is 83 years old as well, and he's doing rallies. And Bernie Sanders, he's got a lot of energy. You may agree with Bernie Sanders, you may disagree with Bernie Sanders. Your views may be aligned with Bernie Sanders, your views may be completely different from the views of Bernie Sanders. But one thing is very true, which is Bernie Sanders has a lot of energy, no doubt about that. I disagree with Bernie Sanders almost 100%. I disagree with Bernie Sanders' viewpoints. I disagree with Bernie Sanders' policy positions. Why? Because he's a socialist. Bernie is a socialist. But one thing is true, he's got a lot of energy. So Bernie Sanders is in his 80s. And he's got a lot of energy, still doing rallies. Maybe he's thinking about running for president in 2028. Who knows? I'm not going to be surprised if he does. Then you look at Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa, one of the most respected members of the United States Senate, Chuck Grassley. He is more than 90 years old, Senator Chuck Grassley, and he's so sharp. He's truly very sharp, and he's a brilliant man, Chuck Grassley. Senator Chuck Grassley, He's a great leader, very sharp, excellent leader, brilliant man, and he's still serving in the US Senate, and he's doing great. He's doing town halls, he's answering constituent questions, he's doing events. So Senator Durbin seems to be a strong individual. I mean, you look at Senator Mitch McConnell, clearly has health issues, but you look at Senator Dick Durbin, he doesn't seem to be frail or weak physically. Senator Durbin, you may agree with him, you may disagree with him. I disagree with him most of the time. But I will admit that he is physically, mentally, he seems to be pretty strong. He doesn't seem to be old or weak. Dick Durbin, that's who I'm talking about. So then the question is, why is he leaving the Senate? Why is he retiring? My friends, I'm coming to my analysis. I'm gonna give you the reasons, but I need to explain to you the pathway to the reasons that I will present to you. You have to understand the broader context, because you know what? People are going to say, oh, Dick Durbin's retiring because he's old. No, I've just given you examples. I've talked about Bernie Sanders. He's in his 80s, energetic, still serving. I've talked about Senator Chuck Grassley. He's in his 90s. He is serving, truly sharp, truly brilliant man, Senator Grassley. And so, you know, there are senators who are in their 80s or more, and they are still serving. So Senator Durbin, why is he retiring? Why is he leaving? And he's not just he's a, how should I say it? He's in the leadership in the Senate Democrats. He's in the leadership. So, my friends, you have to understand one thing. You have to understand something. We know that the Democrats are dreaming about regaining the majority in the US Senate in 2026. The Democrats are looking at 2026 and they are dreaming about winning the midterm election and gaining seats in the Senate and regaining the majority in the US Senate, because right now the Republicans have the majority in the US Senate. The Republicans have regained the majority in the US Senate, and the Democrats are dreaming about recapturing that majority. And honestly, I think it will not happen. The Democrats will not be able to regain the majority in the US Senate. The Republicans, I believe, will hold on to the majority and maybe even grow the size of the majority. The Republicans are going to do great in 2026. But the point is, the Democrats are dreaming, and they can dream if they want. And the Democrats are dreaming about regaining the majority in the US Senate in 2026. And in a blue state like Illinois, one would think that it would be quite easy for Senator Dick Durbin to win re-election in 2026. As I said, he may be old, but he's not frail. He's not physically weak. He seems to be pretty sharp and strong. And in a state like Illinois, even without campaigning much, chances are that he would win re-election because Illinois is such a blue state. So why is Dick Durbin retiring when the pathway to re-election seems to be quite easy for Dick Durbin. In a blue state like Illinois, why is he retiring? Why is Dick Durbin retiring when he is presented with the opportunity to possibly win another term in the U.S. Senate? And if the Democrats truly believe that they will regain the majority in the Senate, then that could be a prime reason for Dick Durbin to run for re-election, because in their view, it would be an easy victory. So why is Dick Durbin retiring? Do you know why? Now I'm going to give you the reasons why. I've given you the context. Now I'm going to give you the reasons why Dick Durbin has decided not to run for re-election. It's not age. When Bernie Sanders can serve in the Senate in his 80s, when you see Senator Chuck Grassley, he's more than 90 years old and he's serving in the Senate, it's not age why Dick Durbin is retiring. Are you ready for the reasons? My friends, share with me in the live chat. Howard, good to see you. Jamie, good to see you. Thank you all for being here. Are you ready to hear the reasons? If you are, my friends, tell me. Just write ready. And I'm going to share with you the reasons. I want you all to pay attention, because what I'm about to tell you is very, very important. If you are ready, tell me that you are. Kay is ready. Howard is ready. Frank is ready. Thank you all. Thank you all, my friends. Let me tell you why Dick Durbin is retiring. Claudia is ready. Thank you, Claudia. The Democrat Party is going downhill. The Democrat Party is a sinking ship. The Democrat Party is completely out of control. The Democrat Party is called Democrat Party, but the Democrat Party has detached itself from democracy. The Democrat Party has no unity. There's no unity in the Democrat Party. The Democrats do not have a common goal. The Democrats are scattered. Their views are scattered. There is no leadership in the Democrat Party. On one hand, there's the old establishment of the Democrat Party, and the old establishment is trying to pursue business as usual. And then, on the other hand, there are the socialists in the Democrat Party. On one hand, you have the old establishment. On the other hand, you've got the socialists in the Democrat Party. It's a mix of the old and the new. Even when you look at the socialists, it's a mix of the old and the new. You've got senior members like Bernie Sanders, and then you've got AOC, who's fairly young, but both socialists. And they are trying to take the Democrat Party in a different direction. And then, that's not all. That's not all. And then there are new forces in the Democrat Party that are so radical that they want to primary their own Democrat Party incumbents for the purposes of implementing their new radical agenda. That is correct. There are forces within the Democrat Party that are looking to primary their own Democrat Party incumbents. So do you understand the conflicts that are taking place within the Democrat Party? The Democrat Party has no shared goal. They have no shared values. The Democrats are scattered. Different people are pulling the Democrat Party in different directions, and the party is sinking like a ship. The Democrat Party is going downhill. Can you believe that there are people in the Democrat Party, and we've seen them, there are people in the Democrat Party who wish to abolish the Second Amendment, and they wish to abolish Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. The Democrat Party has conflicts on the inside, internal conflicts. The Democrat Party is destroying itself from within. And so, Dick Durbin probably realized this. Senator Durbin of Illinois, he has been in politics for a very, very long time. Like I told you, he was first elected to Congress in 1982. So he has been in Washington politics for a very, very long time. And Senator Durbin probably just realized that the Democrat Party is going downhill, that the party is on a self-destructive path, that the Democrat Party is sinking, and there's no hope for the Democrat Party. The party has such intense conflicts internal that there's no hope for the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party is sinking. And so Dick Durbin, probably being an experienced man, he probably just realized that the best course of action for him would be to abandon the sinking ship. What happens when a ship is sinking? People want to abandon the sinking ship. And that is exactly what I think Dick Durbin is doing. Do you agree with me, my friends? My friend Terry is here. Terry, so good to see you. So good to see you, Terry. Anyone else? All right, my friends. So, as I said, Dick Durbin, experienced man, and he knows that the Democrat Party is on a course from which it is impossible for the party to recover. And so, Dick Durbin decided that he's going to abandon the ship. Dick Durbin probably doesn't want to be a part of a party that is destroying itself. So when someone tells you, oh, Dick Durbin's old, it's time for him to retire. No. Dick Durbin may be old, but he can walk, he can speak, he can talk, he can give speeches. He's sharp. You may not agree with Dick Durbin. I don't agree with Dick Durbin. But when I see Dick Durbin, when I hear him talk, I know that he's physically perfectly capable of running for re-election, of continuing to be in office. And it's such an easy state for him. Illinois, so easy for Democrats to get elected and re-elected in statewide races in Illinois. So when someone tells you, oh, Dick Durbin's old, well, Bernie is old. Bernie is still there. Dick Durbin, from his experience, he knows that the Democrat Party is sinking. That the internal conflicts the internal conflicts will damage the Democrat Party in the long, long run. The Democrat Party is completely out of control, and Dick Durbin doesn't want to be a part of this. So he wants to wrap up his Senate career and retire. And he'll probably let the party do whatever it wants to do going forward. Dick Durbin is detaching himself from the Democrat Party, from the new Democrat Party as it stands now. A Democrat Party that is completely out of control, out of touch. I see our friend Evelyn just joined. Evelyn, so good to see you. Our friend Evelyn's here. Thank you, Evelyn. Jamie, I see your question, Jamie. I see your question. And Jamie is asking Tosif, will you pull papers for a public elected office? Am I going to run for office? That's your question. Jamie, you know, whatever God decides. Whatever God decides, Jamie. That's my answer. Who knows what the future has, Jamie? Who knows what the future has? So whatever God decides. My friends, it's so good to see so many of you here. So good to see so many of you. So let's continue with the discussion. This is a pretty alarming sign for the Democrat Party. There may be more Democrats. There may be more Democrats leaving Congress by choosing not to run for re-election. There may be more announcements. Let's look at Jeanne Shaheen. Jeanne Shaheen. Do you know what is going on with Jeanne Shaheen? Jeanne Shaheen, U.S. Senator from New Hampshire. First elected to Senate in the year 2008. So she has been in the Senate for a long time. And Jeanne Shaheen is also leaving the Senate. Jeanne Shaheen, Senator Shaheen, has also announced that she is not going to run for re-election in 2026. And she's the ranking member of the Foreign Relations Committee in the U.S. Senate, meaning Jeanne Shaheen is the top Democrat in that committee, in the Foreign Relations Committee. It's a very powerful position. Now, yes, Jeanne Shaheen is a Democrat, which means that she's in the minority in the Senate, but the fact that she's a member of the Foreign Relations Committee and she's the ranking Democrat, that's a very, very powerful position. That should motivate Jeanne Shaheen to run for re-election, but why is she leaving? Why is Jeanne Shaheen also choosing to retire? Well, talking about foreign relations, my friends, I think we all know that the Democrats have completely failed when it comes to foreign relations. Talk about foreign policy. The Democrats have completely failed in foreign policy. They are big failures in foreign relations. Thankfully, we now have Republican leadership in the U.S. Senate and in the various committees, including the Foreign Relations Committee. We have Republican leaders who are taking the country in the right direction. Republican leaders who believe in the America First agenda. Republican leaders who believe in making America great again. Republican leaders who are allies of President Donald J. Trump, and they are the ones in the different committees in the U.S. Senate. So, Republican leaders are taking the country in the right direction. And foreign relations, the Democrats have completely failed. The Democrats are bad at handling foreign relations. I mean, look at Ukraine, Russia. When did that start? When did that conflict start? The Ukraine-Russia war. It started when the Democrats were in charge in the Senate. When Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, they were in charge in the executive branch. That's when the Ukraine-Russia war, the disaster started. Look at Afghanistan withdrawal. And there's more. There are many other examples. So the Democrats completely failed in foreign relations. So Jeanne Shaheen is retiring. Dick Durbin is retiring. And that's not all. Do you know what other Democrats have decided not to run for re-election? Do you want to give me one more name? Maybe two names? I'm going to wait. I'm going to pause. I'm going to take a break. I want to hear from you. I already gave you two names. Dick Durbin, Senator. Jeanne Shaheen, Senator. Dick Durbin from Illinois. Jeanne Shaheen from New Hampshire. Any other Democrat that you know of who's not running for re-election? Let me give you the names. I mentioned previously about Gary Peters from Michigan. Gary Peters, U.S. Senator from Michigan. Gary Peters is not that old. He is in his 60s. A lot of people run for Senate for the first time when they are in their 60s. A lot of people, maybe they spent their life doing other things. Maybe they were in business. Maybe they did something else. And they decide to run for Senate when they are in their 60s. So being in the 60s is not that old. But Gary Peters, he's in his 60s and he is deciding to leave the U.S. Senate. Gary Peters also decided to exit the U.S. Senate. Why? Maybe because Gary Peters also understands that the Democrat Party is sinking like a ship. And then, you want to give me one more name? Then there's Senator Tina Smith from Minnesota. Who wants to talk about Minnesota? Minnesota, the Tim Walz state. Who knows Tim Walz? You heard that name ever? Have you ever heard that name, Tim Walz? Or have you not? Ask yourself, have you ever heard that name? Tim Walz. Yeah, Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota. But I'm not talking about Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota. I'm talking about Tina Smith, the U.S. Senator from Minnesota, who has also decided that she is not going to run for re-election in 2026. She's also leaving the Senate. What is going on? They are all abandoning the sinking ship of the Democrat Party. That is what I think is going on. Let me know your thoughts, my friends. You don't have to agree with me. If you agree with me, great. But if you don't, that's okay. Share with me your thoughts. Share with me your thoughts, my friends. Why are so many Democrats choosing to retire? Gina is here. Hi, Gina. So good to see you. Thank you for being here, Gina. Give me 1 second. Thank you, Gina, for being here. Harry is here. Hello, Harry. Claudia, thank you for your support. James, I see your comment. My friends, please subscribe if you have not done so already. If you're watching this and you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Support this channel. Hit the like button. Share the video, my friends. If you do that, I feel energized about doing these live streams. My friends, please support this channel, okay? So, there's a hidden panic in the Democrat Party, a hidden panic that is widespread, but you can't see it. But it's affecting many Democrats. There's panic in the Democrat Party because many Democrats, especially the seasoned Democrats, especially the longtime Democrats, especially the Democrats who have spent years and decades in politics, those Democrats realize that their party is losing political prominence. The Democrat Party has turned into a party of lawlessness and chaos. Lawlessness and chaos. Why do you think Joe Manchin left? Yeah, let's talk about Joe Manchin. Why do you think Joe Manchin left? Why do you think Joe Manchin decided that, oh, it's time for him to leave the Senate? Why? Joe Manchin could see what was happening to the Democrat Party. And Joe Manchin did not want to be a part of this. So, the Democrat Party has Democrat Party has turned into a party of lawlessness and chaos, and that is why big names are leaving the Democrat Party. They are leaving, they are retiring, they are not seeking re-election. Big names like Dick Durbin, big names like Jean Shaheen. Tenacious is here. Tenacious, so good to see you. Thank you all for being here. Terry Vining is here. Hello, Terry. My friends, if you are watching this, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Jamie is here. Evelyn is here. Wonderful. Who else is here? Anyone here who I have not yet greeted? I'm so glad to be doing a live stream. It's been a while. It's been a while. Okay? It's been a while since I've done a live stream. By the way, there's a beautiful song, It's Been a While, by Stained. Who has listened to that song? It was released many, many years ago. I was probably a teenager back then. I was a young man back then when that song came out. It's Been a While by Stained. Who has listened to it? My millennial friends, my Gen X friends. If I could play the guitar, I can't play the guitar, but if I could play the guitar, I would be singing that song right now for all of you. It's been a while. It's on my playlist. Oh, the song was released in 2001. 2001. Wow, 24 years ago. Yeah, 2001. I was a teenager. Anyway, I just mentioned it's been a while since I've done a live stream, and I instantly thought about that song. It's Been a While by Stained. What a great song. What a great song. It takes me back to my teenage years. All right. Who loves that song? Let me hear it. Who loves that song? Uh, Tenacious loves it. Tenacious loves that song. Anyone else? Jamie is saying, you remain a young man, Tosser. Thank you so much, Jamie. Thank you. All right, let's see. I have more to discuss. Don't go anywhere. I'm just taking a little break. I'm going to drink some tea. Kay Cooper is saying, hum a few bars. I can't do that, Kay. I'm a speaker. I'm a podcaster. I'm a political analyst. I'm a public policy analyst. I'm a healthcare policy analyst. I can't sing. I can't sing. Yeah, Kay, you want me to sing It's Been a While by Stained? Can't. I can't do that. But thank you, Kay. All right. So here's one thing that political analysts must look at. I'm going to ask you a very important question now. So far, we have talked about the departures that we are going to see. Dick Durbin decided he is not seeking re-election. Jean Shaheen decided she is not seeking re-election. Gary Peters decided he is not seeking re-election. Tina Smith decided she is not seeking re-election. So the question now is, who will replace all these outgoing Democrats? The Democrats are packing their bags and they're heading out the door, but who is going to replace these Democrats? My friends, let me just say something here. The Republicans have wonderful opportunities to capture these seats. The Republicans must find excellent candidates to run for these seats. When incumbents leave, when incumbent Democrats leave, that creates opportunities for the Republicans to capture those seats. So, Republicans in Illinois, Republicans in New Hampshire, Republicans in Minnesota, Republicans in Michigan, you all need to work hard. You need to unite. You need to raise money. You need to recruit volunteers. You need to recruit excellent Republican staff to work on campaigns. You need to have a strong message. You need to make it very clear to the voters that the Republican Party is the party of freedom. The Republican Party is the party of law and order. The Republican Party is the party of liberty. The Republican Party is the party that believes in the Constitution. The Republican Party is the party that will fight to protect Americans' constitutional rights. Republicans in Illinois, Republicans in New Hampshire, Republicans in Minnesota, Republicans in Michigan. Do you understand the opportunities that are in front of you? Win that Senate seat in Illinois. Win that Senate seat in New Hampshire. Win that Senate seat in Minnesota. Win that Senate seat in Michigan. It can be done. Don't think, oh, Illinois is a blue state. Republicans can't win. Do not think that. Just eliminate that mindset. Be positive. Be optimistic. Longdon family is here. Kara, so good to see you. Our friend Kara just joined. Longdon family, Colorado. Thank you for being here. My friends, do you agree with me that the Republicans have wonderful opportunity to win these seats that are being vacated by the incumbent Democrats? Tell me. Do you agree with me, my friends? Tenacious says, I agree. My friends, because I can feel the optimism, I can feel the wonderful opportunity that's in front of the Republicans. My hat is back. I am back, and so is my hat. My friends, if you have not subscribed, you need to subscribe. You need to subscribe. You need to support this channel. You need to help this community grow. We must reach out to more and more and more people all over the country. We need to spread our message to more people. We need to attract more people to be a part of this online community, this freedom-loving community that we have. As Evelyn just wrote, like and subscribe. Please do so. Jet is here. Jet, so good to see you. Jet from Pennsylvania is here. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. So, as I was saying, the Republicans have wonderful opportunities to capture these seats, but that requires finding great candidates. These are not easy states. Illinois is not an easy state for Republicans. Minnesota is not an easy state for the Republicans. New Hampshire. Winning Senate races in these states would require a lot of hard work, and it would require running smart campaigns, lots of volunteers, excellent campaign staff, and of course, strong endorsement from President Donald J. Trump. So we have wonderful opportunity. We have wonderful opportunity. We can win. The Democrats, if they think that they are going to regain the majority in the U.S. Senate in the 2026 midterm, we won't let that happen. We, the freedom-loving people of this country, we will, if the Democrats think they are going to regain the majority, we won't let it happen. People all over this country must vote. If you have a Senate race in your state, and I'm going to go state by state, not today, but in the not so distant future, very soon I'm going to go state by state, and I will do analysis of the states where there's going to be a US Senate race in 2026. Because the Republicans must continue to hold on to the Senate majority and grow the majority. Not just hold on to the Senate majority, but grow the size of the majority. The Republicans can do it. It requires willingness, hard work, fundraising, and a strong message. Highlight the accomplishments of the Republicans. Highlight the accomplishments of President Donald J. Trump. Border security, foreign trade, foreign policy, law and order, public safety, protecting children, fighting to ensure sound education, protecting women and women's sports. These are all accomplishments of the Trump administration. And there's more. We can talk about energy. We can talk about transportation. President Donald J. Trump and his administration, they are unleashing American energy and making America energy dominant. So we can win. The Republicans can win. They have to. They must highlight the accomplishments of the Trump administration and the Republicans. And we can win. We got 53 seats in the US Senate right now. We can increase that number. It is possible. Gina is saying drill, drill, drill. Exactly. We got to drill. We have to utilize the energy resources that we have. God-given resources. How did we end up with so much of energy resources, so much of natural resources? Because God the Almighty has given us the resources. And we are going to use those natural resources to become energy dominant. We embrace the gifts that we have received from God. We are grateful for the gifts that we have received from God. And we are going to use those gifts. We are going to use the God-given resources to make America stronger than ever before. My friends, do you agree with my viewpoints? Do you agree with what I said? Thank you, my friends, for all your support. Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you, Gina. Thank you all. Thank you, Ken. Thank you so very much, everyone. All right. I'm just looking at the live chat. Okay. All right. Excellent. Meg is here. Hello, Meg. Gina is saying we have a great opportunity to be great and to be great again. Exactly. We cannot allow the Democrats to win in 2026. Just can't let that happen. The Democrats, they're going to try to recapture the House majority, the Senate majority. We can't let that happen. Give me 1 second, my friends. Cuba Lou, thank you so much for your support, Cuba Lou. Anyone else here? Thank you, Cuba Lou. Evelyn says, yes, I agree. Thank you, Evelyn. So my friends, let's see. Bill is here from Vegas. Bill, so good to see you. Bill writes, good evening, Tossif and fellow patriots. Just tuned in. Bill, wonderful. I was actually thinking, like, I haven't seen Bill today. So Bill is here. Bill, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Bill. My friends, do you think that we will once again be able to regain all the views? Our videos would get thousands and thousands of views every day. Because I have not been able to do live streams regularly, the views have kind of slowed. But do you think we'll be able to get back to getting tens of thousands of views again? Do you think it's going to happen? Do you think it's possible? Do you think we can regain the momentum? Do you feel confident? All right. Ken says yes. Thank you, Ken. Thank you. So my friends, we are 1 hour, 3 minutes into the live stream. I have nothing further to discuss right now, but I will try to do more live streams. Okay. I don't want to promise that I'm gonna do one every night, because what if I promise and I'm not able to do it because life gets so busy? But I'll try to do live streams as much as I can. And then I'll also try to publish podcast episodes. So if you don't see me doing a live stream, please make sure that you're watching my podcast episodes. Okay, I would appreciate that very, very much. Okay, the video versions will be uploaded on YouTube. The audio only versions are available in various podcast directories. I also have a poll today that I'm running. It says, do you think that the GOP will maintain the majority in the Senate in the 2026 midterm election? The choices are yes and no. I'm going to end the poll and let's see what happens, okay? 81 votes, 61% said yes, so that's great. 61% of the respondents think that the GOP, the Republicans, will maintain the majority in the US Senate in the 2026 midterm election. So 61% have a favorable view. They think that the GOP will maintain the majority in the Senate. Great. And 38% said no. Okay. All right. So overwhelmingly, people are optimistic about the Republicans holding on to the Senate majority in the 2026 midterm. So thank you so very much. Okay, my friends, I'm going to wrap up this live stream now. Thank you all so very much. And I actually have to, I've got some throat issues. I have to go get some more tea. So I'm going to wrap this up, but I will be doing more live streams, publishing more videos. So please Stay connected. Subscribe. If you have not done so already, subscribe to this channel, and we will talk again very soon. I appreciate each and every one of you, my friends. Thank you so very much. Cubaloo is asking, what is the name of your podcast? All right. Cubaloo, I'm going to give you that information. My podcast, hold on. Let me write it down. It's called Explore and Engage with Anam. My podcast is called Explore and Engage with Anam. Please look it up and listen to some of the previous episodes. I think you'll like it. All right. Helena is asking, Tausif, what are your thoughts on student loans repayment starting? Helena, good to see you. I was going to wrap it up, but Helena has a question. So I'm going to answer that question. Helena is asking, Tausif, what are your thoughts on student loan repayment starting? You know what? If people have borrowed money as student loans, those loans will have to be repaid. Those loans will have to be repaid. So if you've borrowed money, you must repay that. Very simple, because you know what happens? Let's say the government decides to just forgive the loans. You know what happens? Those are loans. Someone's going to have to pay for that. If the government says, oh, borrowers, student loan borrowers, you don't have to pay. Forgiven. You know, that means the burden that is now on the American taxpayers. Nothing's forgiven. The burden would then shift from the borrowers to the taxpayers. And think about somebody who graduated high school but did not go to college, doesn't have student loans, or somebody who went to college but did not borrow money, paid for it out of pocket or worked hard and had jobs, made money, and then paid tuition, didn't borrow money. Or maybe there are those who borrowed money as student loans and then paid those back. If you forgive the existing student loans, then it means that the burden then shifts to the taxpayers. And that is unfair. So you've borrowed money for student loans, you got to pay it back. Very, very simple. My friends, you agree with me. I was going to leave, but then Helena had that question, so that's what I'm trying to answer. And I now see Didi is here. Didi, so good to see you. So good to see you, Didi. Yeah, Didi is saying pay it back. Yeah, you got to pay it back. You got to pay it back. All right? If you have taken student loans, if you have borrowed money, you have to pay it back. All right? You got to pay it back. So, yeah, that's my answer, Helena. I don't know if you like the answer. I don't know if you agree with my viewpoints or you disagree. I don't know. So, yeah. It's responsibility. It's responsibility. Yeah. By the way, the Department of Education is an absolute mess, and that department needs to be abolished, really. The Department of Education. Absolute mess. Okay? And who created that department? The Democrats did. Jimmy Carter created that, right? He established that. The Department of Education. By the way, I'm so happy that we have Linda McMahon as the Secretary of Education. She is doing an absolutely excellent job. Linda McMahon. Linda McMahon is doing wonderful. okay, as the Secretary of Education. So that's all, my friends. Linda McMahon, great, great Secretary of Education. She's wonderful. The entire cabinet that President Trump has, the entire cabinet is wonderful. Okay, so my friends, I'm going to wrap this up. If you have more questions, please email me. My email address is tosif@tosifanam.net. Please email me, send me your questions, and I'll try to answer your questions in a future live stream. So thank you all so very much. My friends, Ken, thank you so very much. I will be back again with more videos and more live stream. I appreciate your support. Thank you so very much, my friends. May God bless you all. May God bless our President, Donald J. Trump. May God bless the Trump administration. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless our U.S. allies. And may God bless freedom-loving people all over the world. With that, have a wonderful night, my friends. I'm going to be back again with more videos and more live stream. And together, my friends, together, we will make America great again. Thank you. Have a wonderful night. So good to see you all. And I'll see you again very soon. Thank you. Good night.